some of the talks that I was really interested in, that I think really captures what user-centred design is about, is how user-centred design can address some of the other problems of big data, for example, in the Internet of Things. A lot of these, talked about in industry, talked about, in government and the wider community, but it's actually the people that are doing the user-centred design that are thinking about the people in those processes, in those situations, and in that environment. So the Internet of Things, linking loads of stuff together, big data, lots of data being captured and used, but where's the people in that process? Where are the individuals? And I think it's up to one of the key messages that came out from some of these talks is that the user-centred designer needs to represent people, needs to represent individuals in those concepts. I thought that was really interesting and something that I don't think that industry in general is thinking about at the moment. So for me, that's something to take back to work, and when we're thinking about those problems and concepts. I decided to come to this conference because of the theme, humanity and digitisation. And I've really enjoyed how there's been such a wide variety of different people, different interests. There's it's like the intersection between digital, design, psychology, people just doing stuff. Whole mix of different ages, different generations are represented, and there's loads of different choices. There's workshops and there's talks, there's keynote speakers, and it's just been really fascinating. And one of the key things in my work, in my industry, is that we're thinking about, we're technology hardware providers, but what does that mean? How can we design for the future ourselves? And digitisation is one of those sort of, really key for growth in our industry, in my industry. And it's just been fascinating. There's such, people with loads of different backgrounds, different experiences, and it's just been really good. I really loved the talk by the guys from Native. So it had the cyberpunk and it had the sci-fi writer, and just how those different people just worked together to create a concept. This sort of AI of the future is just brilliant. I really liked that. And then some of the thinking, the digital afterlife, that's just blown my mind. It's something that personally I've never thought about what happens to my online data if I die, but also designing. When we're creating digital services, it's designing that sort of end point for our consumers, for our users. Really interesting. People don't think about death, do they? They talk about it, in politely, and it's just really a really interesting thing to think about.